Hi guys, welcome to Ripplemath. Just going to do some questions on the quadratic expression, factorizing quadratic expressions, three different ways. And people ask me, what's the easiest way to do it? Well, it really depends on the question. There's the cross method, there's using the quadratic formula, and there's the PSF method. We'll run the same methods, those methods on one example so you can see the comparison, okay? So the first example we're going to do is this one, 6x squared minus 7x minus 5. We're going to factorize that. And we're going to do that just using the cross method. We'll call this the cross method. And it's only because people do a little cross here. It doesn't have to be a cross. You put two numbers here and here, which when you multiply them together, they give you 6x squared. And then the two numbers here and here will be such that they multiply to give minus 5. And when you choose the numbers right, whoops, that should be a 1. When you cross multiply and you go, okay, let's go 3x times 1 is 3x plus 2x times minus 5 is minus 10x. That gives you minus 7x, which is the middle number, which is what you want. So therefore, right away, you get 3x minus 5, bracket, bracket, 2x plus 1, and that is factorized. And that's that quick usually with these types. Now, method 2 is if you're really not very good at the cross method and it's a bit tricky-ish, like maybe that one is, that's not that tricky. It's got a couple of factors on the 6, but in any case, the quadratic formula is such that if you've got let's look at the formula first, ax squared plus bx plus c. So let's look at an equation. The solution for this equation, when we factorize it, it will look like this. So x1 and x2 are the roots of that equation, and you would find those using the quadratic formula. So that's minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, where a, b, and c are the coefficients of x squared, x, and the constant term. So in the case of our quadratic here, let's just rewrite it just for convenience sake. Here we have a is equal to 6. Whoops, got a bit of an issue there. B is equal to minus 7, C equals minus 5. Plug it in, you get minus B, which is plus 7, therefore, square root of B squared, that's 49, minus 4 times A times C, all over 2A. A is 6, so that's 12. So that gives you 7 plus or minus root 169 all over 12. And you've got to trust me on this one. I assume you can do the math as well. You will get 5 over 3. Sorry. And minus a half. So that means that the original equation, you'll write 6 because a equals 6 according to this one here. You'll go x minus x1, x minus x2. That becomes plus a half. And there you have it. Now let's take a 3 and a 2 from there and shove it into each folder separately so that 3 goes into the first one. That cancels the 3 on the 5. The 2 goes into the other one. That cancels the 2 on the bottom. And you have the same result. Okay guys, now let's do that same example. We're still on example number 1 there. We're going to use the PSF method this time. That means product, factor, factor, well, sum factor, I guess, yeah, PSF. Let's keep the order. And so if we've got 6x squared minus 7x minus 5, what we're going to do is going to reorganize those two. We're going to split the 7x into two parts and then factorize in pairs, and it'll come out naturally. The hardest part will come, I'll tell you what that bit is there. The product is the 6 times the minus 5, that's the end numbers, so that's minus 30. The sum is the middle number, which is minus 7. The factors, this is the hard part, usually. Two numbers that multiply together to give minus 30, but which add up to minus 7. What two numbers are that going to be? Well, they're actually 3 and minus 10. You can experiment with that if you want, but 3 plus minus 10 is minus 7. 3 times minus 10 is 7, minus 30. So let's split that number up in the middle there. We're going to split that into minus 10x plus 3x minus 5. Now factorize. So you get a 2x as a common factor of the first two terms. We're going to factorize that in pairs. The second one's already done. It's simple. And this one is 3x minus 5. And you can see that's the same as that second one there, 3x minus 5, which makes it easy. That's always the case, by the way. That one and that one are always the same. Put a 1 in front of that. The common factor there is 3x minus 5. And then you get 2x plus 1. How quick was that? Now you notice in this case, the crunch point here was, how's that? Does that factors thing work or not? It doesn't work. All right, we'll use a white one. This was the crunch point here. That can be often the most tricky part in this sort of question. All right, let's do another one. It's number 2. This one's a bit more wild. It's 40x squared. 40 has many factors. Plus 7x minus 20 also has many factors. That makes this very problematic. And to be honest, the cross method, I wouldn't even try it. The cross method would be a no. Don't do it. It won't be very successful. The quadratic formula, that does work, so let's do it using the quadratic formula. A in this case would be 40, B is 7, C is minus 20. Use the formula x equals minus b plus or minus square root b squared, which is 49, minus 4 times a times c. Make sure you put the minus on that, over 2a, so that's 80. I'll save you the trouble, so it's minus 7 plus or minus 57 all over 80. So finally that gives you 5 over 8 and minus 4 over 5. Then you take the 40, bracket x minus 5 over 8, x minus minus becomes plus 4 over 5. You take an 8 from the 40 in the first bracket and a 5 from the 40 in the second bracket. And Bob's your uncle. Yoo-hoo! All right, on the next page, we're going to actually do that using the PSF method. In this case, the second method was the best method for this question. The PSF method will be good too, but there's a little trick in the getting the two factors. All right, now we're going to do that last example using the PSF method. We'll just, number 2, use the PSF method. On that last example, we'll rewrite it for clarity here. 40x squared plus 7x minus 20. This could be a really quick method. I've seen people do these so automatically. Product for this one is 40 multiplied by minus 20. Sum is the middle number, 7. Factors. Now we need two numbers that multiply to give minus 800, but they add up to 7. Now if they add up to 7, they're almost the same size, right? And I'm just figuring out, and 800 is close to 900. The square root of 900 is 30. So our two numbers are going to be in the vicinity of 30, I reckon. And if you experiment a little bit, you'll note that it's going to be 32 and minus 25. I actually guessed that off the top, but if you don't guess it off the top, you're nearby. So you try 30, 31, 32, that sort of thing, or go down to 28, things like that, around 30. That should work. And you can check that that works. If you add those two together, you get +7. You multiply them together, you get -800. And that's actually the most tricky bit. That's the hard part for these ones. The rest is just automatic writing. So you go 40x squared. You're going to split that 7x up according to this scheme here. So it's plus 32x minus 25x minus 20. Now we're going to factorize in pairs. So the common factor there is 8x bracket 5x plus 4 minus, now I know that this is going to be the same over here. You can just copy paste that without thinking about it, and then work out what the number here has to be to give us a 25. 5 5s are 25, so it's a 5, easy. So therefore, common factor there is, it's 5x plus 4, bracket, there's an 8x and minus 5. And that's a done deal. So yeah, you can sort of argue that that was a bit tricky, that getting those two numbers, but really with a bit of experience, getting those numbers there is not really that hard. And this one was a bit of a way out example. Normally they won't be anywhere near like that. It'll be much easier normally. So I would recommend this method as a good method, but it depends, each to their own. Hope you have a great day, guys, and thanks for coming by. Please like my video, and if you really want some good material in the future, you'll subscribe too. Have a great day. Cheerio. Ripplemath here, by the way. Did I mention that? Yeah, good. Bye.